Welcome to the ELEV8 6-week challenge induction. So for anyone who can't make the in-person induction, this is just a quick overview of the philosophy on the gym, the ELEV8 Aim, and what we're going to do during the 6-week challenge. And it just gives you a little understanding of what you're going to be doing over the next 6 weeks, okay? So one of the main philosophies of ELEV8 is treating everyone as if they are an athlete, and whether they're an athlete of a sport or an athlete of life. So, for example, if you don't play any sport but you're a busy businessman, a busy businesswoman, if you are career-driven, if you've got a family, if you're a dad, you're a mum, if you've got loads of hobbies outside the gym, it doesn't matter. You are an athlete and you have an output of your life. So it depends what your output is. For example, it might be an MMA fighter, their output is the sport, or if you're very career driven, your output is your career, and then followed by like your output of going home and being a dad or a mum. So it's understanding that when you come to the gym and you do our training, you can't be left like on your hands and knees blowing for air every single day and going outside the gym and sitting in the car and nearly being sick, because you have an output to do. So when you drive home or you drive to work or you drive to wherever you're going, you need to be ready to do that output. And when you come to the gym, it should enhance that. It shouldn't hinder that. So it's common that when people go to the gym and go to group classes and stuff like that, it is very difficult. It's very red line in every session. The intensity is very hard. And although it's important to train hard at high intensities at specific times, that's not what most people need to be doing day in, day out. If we look at professional athletes, they don't do that, even though we might think we do. Most people who trying to get fitter and stronger shouldn't be doing high intensity every single day. So it's our philosophy at ELEV8 to just understand your output is life and to treat you as if like you are an athlete of life, and that's how we are going to get you fitter and stronger. Okay, so it's our aim to create sustainability, longevity, education and happiness. So we want to educate our members that when they do leave ELEV8, they have the tools and the processes in place to sustain a healthy, fit lifestyle. And we want to do this with as little stress to the body as possible. As I mentioned, training is stress to the body, so we need to put the correct amount of stress onto your body to get the adaptation, and we don't need to do any more or any less, alright? And that ultimately will save more energy to apply yourself into your family, your business, work, hobbies, like the list goes on, okay? So that's just a very quick overview of our philosophy and aim here at ELEV8. So I won't go into this one too much, it's pretty self-explanatory. So we just have a quick scan on the screen at the ELEV8 gym principles and values, and this is just how we're all going to treat each other and the other members, okay? And the big ones here are just treat everyone fairly and no judgment, okay? So this is an environment to learn, to grow, to coach, and everyone should be happy, and it should be a safe space and enjoyable space for everyone. So excuse me language, but the most important thing here is just no dickheads. Don't be a dickhead, treat everyone fairly and how you want to be treated, okay? And then we'll build that team cohesion over the next 6 weeks, and everyone can progress and work to their own fitness and health goals, okay? So very quick overview about myself. My name's Nic Santa Coaching. Obviously I run Nic Santa Coaching, and I'll be coaching out of ELEV8, okay? So I'll be taking you for most of your sessions over the 6-week trial. Very quickly about me, I'm a qualified strength and conditioning coach. I've completed an MSc in strength and conditioning at St Mary's, Twickenham. Spent most of my adult life in the British Army working for the Royal Army Physical Training Corps, and that is looking at getting soldiers fit and healthy to deploy to war effectively. That's been my role. Alongside that, I've run multiple like weight management programs for the army, because believe it or not, the army has quite a problem with like obesity, so like obese soldiers. So I've got a lot of experience in that side of it as well. So hopefully through all this experience mentioned, you will see this in my coaching, and we can help work towards your fitness and health goals. So looking at the training program overview over these next 6 weeks, so it's going to be split into 3 sessions, and these sessions are going to be your non-negotiable sessions, okay? So they are Monday, which will be upper body, Wednesday, which will be lower body, and Friday, which will be full body, okay? The reason we do this structure is to hit each body part twice, okay? So to get adaptations and get muscles to grow, we need to be utilising the upper body twice, and we do that by doing upper body and then full body, and then same with lower body, we do this by doing lower body and then full body. So upper and lower gets hit twice a week, okay? So Saturday will be a catch-up session. So let's say you're working late on a Wednesday and don't make it, you then need to get to Saturday to do a catch-up session. So if you do Monday and Friday but miss your lower body, you'll come in Saturday and your session will be loaded onto the app, and then you'll open the app up and follow the session. I'll be there to help and guide people, but it won't be an instructor-led session, because if you imagine, we've got 6 people there all doing different sessions. So that's just an opportunity for you to catch up on your training, all right? If you're really keen and want to come on a Saturday as well as the 3 sessions, again, that's fine. I will upload an optional full body session to the Saturday, all right? So that's the overview. The phase that we're going to be training is going to be the general preparation, strength, and we're going to be looking at predominantly the movement patterns. So the first few weeks is going to be heavily coaching. So, for example, bench press, deadlift, squat, RDLs, single arm press, all these movements, we're going to be coaching and getting the movement patterns nailed for when we progress into the heavier weights, that you have the movement patterns. Where if we just jump straight in without doing all the coaching, you're going to get to a point where you can't lift anymore, or you can't get any fitter or stronger, because we haven't got the correct movement patterns to load up correctly, okay? And then we're going to be looking at anaerobic conditioning, which will be utilising intervals, which for people who don't know, intervals is like a work-rest ratio. So for example, we could be working for 10 seconds, resting for 50 times 5. That'll be our anaerobic conditioning. But we'll go into this more over the next few weeks. Also, a question I did have was, if you wanted to train on a Tuesday and Thursday, what would you do? And can I help with that? So the answer to that is yeah. What we would do there is your aerobic conditioning. So what that means is that's steady state training. So that could be a steady state jog, a steady state cycle, swimming, walking, anything that's long and slow and not too stressful to the body. That's when we would get the Tuesday. That's what we're doing a Tuesday and a Thursday. But I'll elaborate more on this as this week goes on. So an overview of how a session's going to work is on the screen now. So we'll spend 5 minutes going through warm-up and movement patterns. We'll then spend 20 to 25 minutes looking at your strength and power movements, such as squat, hinge, push, pull. And that's where we'll be getting like our compound lifts in and going through a lot of coaching. Okay, so it's important to understand that this part, it's very low intensity, this part to start with. So if you can stick with it, and if you're used to moving around at 100 miles an hour in the gym and doing really high intensity stuff, this might be a little bit of a shock to you. So some people sometimes think that this isn't as effective because you're not sweating or you're not really out of breath, but it's understanding that why we're doing it, why we're doing the coaching, to progress forward and add longevity to our training. Because there's only so much jumping about and running around we can do, where in 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10 years time, we're still going to be just jumping about and running around more. If you want to do that, that's no problem, but there's no real progression there. With this method of strength training, there's clear progression, which is going to also help our fitness, all right? So then we'd move on to the strength accessory, which is the smaller muscle groups. So that's like our isolation muscle groups, such as you could be doing bicep curls, shoulder raises, hamstring exercises, quad exercises. And we spent about 10 minutes onto this before we go on to our conditioning. So this is usually what most people find most enjoyable, the high intensity stuff. So we'll be working for between 10 and 15 minutes, and that's looking at stuff on the rower, the ski erg, the bike, core movements and stuff like that, okay? And then the aim is to finish each session with 5 minutes spare to just have a discussion as a group. And the reason we want to do this as a group is because if you've got a question, it's probably going to be relative to the rest of the group, okay? So if it's a really private question, of course, ask me independently. But if it's just a general, broad question, like, for example, oh, Nick, I'm going out on the aisle this weekend, any advice? That's a good question for the group to hear, okay? So that gives us 5 minutes each session, which is effectively 15 minutes a week, discussing any problems or things you're stuck on each week to discuss, okay? So it's important now that you should have the training app set up. I've emailed everyone a link, so everyone should have that now. This is where all your training is going to be loaded onto, so please make sure you've set that up before our session later today. So moving on to a nutrition overview. So on the screen is just some key points when we're looking at your nutrition, okay? And we'll explore this more as the weeks go by via the lectures that I'll be putting on onto the app, okay? There'll be 5-6 minutes and just covering topics that are going to help you progress with your nutrition. So the first thing we're going to discuss is the fact that we're going to focus on calories and protein. I'm not worried too much about carbs and fats. We need to be hitting our calorie target, which I will set. and your protein targets, alright? The big thing here is making sure that you track every single calorie. If you eat 1,000,000 calories on a Saturday, I don't really care as long as it's tracked. And when I say I don't care, at least you're tracking it. And then when we review your calories, we can say, okay, our weight isn't coming down or our weight isn't going up because you've ate too much or too little. At least we can see the accurate data, okay? I'd much rather you were honest with yourself than not be, and then I can't help you if you're not honest. If your calories are perfect, but you haven't actually ate them, then I can't help you. So it's important that you track every single calorie, okay? Couple of key points there, which are usually self-explanatory, but focusing on whole foods, high protein food, chicken, lean beef, etc. And we're going to try and hit our protein each day and then fill our calories up with other carbs and fats, alright? So 3 meals a day, ideally, breakfast, lunch and tea, and then high protein snacks in between each meal, and hitting 5 fruit and veg a day. So the 80-20% rule, some of us may have heard this in other walks of life, but it's a very effective rule to create like consistency over a long period of time. And what this means is, when it comes to our nutrition, is 80% of our food should come from high protein whole foods. So stuff that basically has 1, 2, 3 ingredients, okay? If it has 100 ingredients, like a bar of chocolate, that will go into our 20%, okay? So effectively the 20% can be made up of whatever you want. So for myself, I like a lot of sweets and chocolate. So each day, if I'm on 3,000 calories, that's 600 calories a day. I can eat whatever I want, as long as the other 80% has hit my protein, alright? So I might hit 2,400 calories and that's all my protein hit. And then I've got 600 calories of an evening to have a dairy milk, a little packet of sweets, a bagel with some jam and a sugar-free Diet Coke. That would be my 20%, right? And that's how we create sustainability. So, or your thing might be pints. So I'm not too sure how many calories are in a pint, but if it's 300 calories in a pint and I've got 600 left of the 20%, that's 2 pints I could have of an evening, if I really wanted to. So it's understanding that you can have the foods and the drinks that you want in moderation, as long as it's in your 20%, okay? So how we're going to measure your progress. So it's common that most people think that by just looking at the scales, that's how we're going to measure progress. But that's only one parameter. So on the screen here, you can see 6 different measurements that we'll utilise to see our progress. And we draw on these at different times. So, for example, say your body weight hasn't changed, but your body measurements have all come down. So you've lost 5 centimetres off your waist, and your body composition, which means how you look. So body composition looks better, your body measurements have come down, but your weight hasn't moved, then that's okay, isn't it? Because we know our body's changing in a positive light because we've used them other measurements. Equally, we could be looking at how you feel. So if you're feeling great and you're performing well in life, then that's a great measurement, isn't it? We don't need to be dictated by the scales at all times. So it's understanding we have different measures to draw on at different points. And this is where I will help you understand that. So it's not just about the scale, okay? So that's just one parameter. So don't get fixed on what the scale says. I'll get you to check your weight 2-3 times a week. And the only reason I'm doing that is because we need to check the fluctuation in your weight. It's not because that's the be all or end all, okay? So on the screen here is just how I work out your individual macros. I thought it would be quite important to show you this. Although I'll do this for you, it's not some secret science. It's a pretty basic formula. So I just thought it'd be cool to show you and understand how I'm working out your calories and protein per day. Okay, so I'll elaborate more on this as the weeks go by, but for now I will just work this out for you when we set your calories later today, okay? So it's important that you set MyFitnessPal up now. So you download MyFitnessPal and you're also going to Trainerize app, the training app, and connect MyFitnessPal, okay? If anyone has any issues doing this, then we can go through this in our session later today. So rest and recovery then, very quick overview on this. Ideally, we want to be having 2 rest days per week. And the rest means rest from arduous exercise, arduous workloads, late nights, all that type of stuff. So ideally, we want to try and factor in 2 days where we do stuff that our body can recover, okay? So, for example, if you're really stressed in work and then you're training hard, you're eating well, we need 2 days to let the body adapt to the stress that we're putting on it. So if we understand that most things in life are stress, not in a bad way, but Working hard is applying stress to the body. Training hard is applying stress to the body. Studying is applying stress to the body. So we need to allow our body to rest and adapt to this stress. And if we don't, that's when we start getting burnt out and noticing a decline in performance in life, in the gym, in our mood. So ideally, we want to be having 2 rest days per week, okay? As you can see on the screen now, the water intake there, the formula is there to work that out. So, like myself, I weigh 200 pounds. That means I should be having 4 litres of water per day. This is very important to just help your body rejuvenate and just basically maintain and be healthy, all right? So, sleep then, this is a big one. We need to aim for a minimum of 7 hours. Ideally 8 and 9. I know this is not always possible. Like myself, I've got a 6-month-old baby, so there's no way I'm getting this, but I'm conscious of it and I'm trying to get it in. If I don't, it is what it is, but at least I'm trying. We shouldn't be sat up watching Netflix till 2 in the morning and getting up for work at 6. That's really going to hinder our performance in life and in the gym, okay? So ideally 7 hours sleep. 10,000 steps per day, we want to try and get that in, all right? If not, it's not possible, let's aim for 5, let's aim for 7, but we want to be trying to get them 10,000 steps in per day. This is a free way to almost burn fat. I hate that saying, burn fat, but basically what that means is we're going to utilise a lot more calories easily with low intensity and less stress to the body by doing these 10,000 steps every day. I'd argue the 10,000 steps per day is more important than actually going to the gym. I know that's a pretty bizarre thing to say, but that 10,000 steps done every single day is going to help you lose fat, okay? Don't underestimate them steps, please, all right? Longevity, you need the gym. Short term, we need to be getting them steps in, all right? And then final one, just look after your mindset, all right? Don't be too hard on yourself. Celebrate the wins. Turning up to the gym 3 times a week is a massive win, all right? And then active recovery. Try and be active as possible on a weekend, on our rest days, going for nice walks, going swimming, doing nice active activities, okay? So final one to sum up then, just a very brief overview on lifestyle choices. If you like a drink and you like fast food, that's no problem. We can still get that in our calories, but we want to try and reduce the alcohol we're having on a weekly basis, okay? And also reduce the fast food. So if you eat a lot of fast food and you have a lot of alcohol, the lifestyle choices that we should really be trying to do is trying to reduce these 2 factors, okay? We're not completely writing them off our life. We're still going to have them, but we need to understand that having them 2-3 times a week is really going to hinder our performance and our progression, okay? So moving forward, our non-negotiables for the next couple of weeks are going to be 3 gym sessions per week. You've got to get them in. I need you to track all your calories, regardless whether you're too high or too low. And I want you to hit your water intake, okay? There are 3 non-negotiables moving forward until we set new ones in a couple of weeks, all right? So just to reiterate, the ELEV8 Philosophy and Aim is to educate our members and create sustainability, okay? Ultimately giving you more energy to apply yourself to your family, your business, your work, your hobbies, the list goes on. We'll be treating you as an athlete of life, and it's important that you view yourself as an athlete of life and understand that your performance and output in life needs to be supported in the gym. We're coming to the gym to make you fitter, stronger and healthier for your output. We're not here to bury you into the ground and leave you on the hands and knees thinking, oh my God, that was the best workout because I can't breathe. That's not how strength and fitness and conditioning works. Understand the principles and what we're trying to achieve here. And if you've got any questions at any point, please just let me know, okay? So I'm excited for you all to get started. If you've got any questions, just put it into the group chat on the app and I will cover them. If it's a personal question, just drop me a private message in the app and I will get back to you as soon as. Thanks for listening. Hope everything has been covered. Any questions, just let me know.